March 14, 2018. Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom packed wall to wall, cameras rolling for his viral show, Court in Providence. Defense attorney Marcus Brennan walks in 47 minutes late. $4,000 suit crisp, Rolex flashing under fluorescent lights. He slams a worn leather briefcase on the defense table. Monogrammed, 12 years old, his good luck charm from law school. The sound echoes. Gallery goes silent. Brennan doesn't notice. "Your Honor, I have 3 depositions today. Let's expedite this." 4 words that will end everything. Caprio's face, unchanged, calm, that legendary poker expression 2 million viewers have learned to read. The briefcase sits there between them. What's inside will matter in 90 seconds. Brennan doesn't know Caprio's one rule yet. This 4-minute interaction will cost him his career, his marriage, his reputation. 15 years of dominance erased before the cameras stop rolling. Marcus Brennan built his reputation on intimidation. By 2018, he'd racked up an 89% acquittal rate across Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Corporate fraud, DUI, assault cases that should have been slam dunks for prosecutors. His annual income, $850,000. His method, aggressive cross-examination, witness coaching that skirted ethical lines, and an unshakable courtroom presence that made junior prosecutors second-guess their own evidence. The worn leather briefcase never left his side. He'd carried it since graduating Boston College Law in 2003, a gift from his father stamped with his initials, MAB. Inside, case files, legal pads, and, for the past 3 years, something else. A small digital voice recorder activated during client consultations. 200 recordings, 200 conversations where clients revealed their actual guilt, their lies, their secrets. Brennan never told them. Massachusetts is a 2-party consent state. Recording without permission is illegal. He didn't care. Control the room or lose the case, he'd tell associates over scotch at Federal Hill steakhouses. The briefcase held his insurance policy. It also held his destruction. Judge Frank Caprio seemed like an easy mark. Municipal Court in Providence, traffic violations, parking disputes, small claims. Most defense attorneys viewed it as minor league, a place where real lawyers sent their paralegals. What they missed, Caprio had been on the bench for 40 years. His YouTube show, Court in Providence, drew millions of viewers who watched him show mercy to struggling defendants, immigrants, elderly drivers, people facing genuine hardship. The clips went viral. Compassionate judge forgives woman's parking ticket. Judge pays man's fine out of own pocket. Lawyers saw softness. They assumed predictability. They were wrong. Caprio had dismissed 7 attorneys for contempt in 4 decades, not for losing cases, but for disrespect, arriving late, speaking over defendants, treating his courtroom like an inconvenience. His photographic memory tracked patterns, the arrogant lawyers who walked in once a month with expensive briefcases and impatient attitudes. Most learned after 1 warning. Some never learned at all. "Respect isn't optional," he'd said in a 2016 interview with the Providence Journal. That phrase would become legendary for reasons nobody saw coming. March 14th started as routine. Brennan's assistant had flagged it as a throwaway. Traffic violation, client caught doing 52 in a 35 zone, $185 fine. The client, a small business owner named Robert Chen, specifically requested Brennan by name. High-profile attorney for speeding tickets seemed odd, but Chen was willing to pay the retainer. Brennan figured it was vanity, some guy wanting to feel important. He scheduled it for 9 a.m., squeezed between a deposition prep and a state senator meeting. When his alarm went off at 6:30, he almost canceled. But Chen had already paid $2,500 up front. 20 minutes in court, easy money. Brennan grabbed the leather briefcase from his office closet, threw in Chen's file along with 2 others he'd review in the car. The digital recorder went in the side pocket, force of habit. The drive from his East Greenwich house to downtown Providence took 30 minutes. He stopped for coffee, checked emails at red lights, walked into the courthouse at 9:47 a.m., 47 minutes late. Courtroom already in session. Cameras already rolling. 2 million people would eventually watch what happened next. Brennan pushed through the gallery, packed tighter than he expected. He didn't recognize the TV production setup, didn't notice the professional camera operators. Judge Caprio sat elevated at the bench, 78 years old, reading glasses perched on his nose, speaking gently to a nervous defendant about a broken tail light. Brennan walked straight to the defense table, dropped his briefcase with that distinctive thud. Leather on wood. The room went quiet. Caprio looked up. Brennan straightened his tie, flashed his courtroom smile, the one that said, "I'm important, and we both know it." "Your Honor, I apologize for the delay. Heavy caseload this morning. I have 3 depositions scheduled today, so if we could expedite this matter, I'd appreciate it." The words hung there. You could hear someone in the gallery inhale sharply. Caprio removed his glasses slowly, folded them, set them on the bench. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, measured, with the kind of calm that makes people nervous. "Counselor, you're 47 minutes late to my courtroom. I don't speed up for anyone." Brennan's smile flickered. He tried to recover. "Of course, Your Honor. Heavy caseload. So does everyone here. Sit down." Brennan sat. The briefcase rested against his leg, suddenly feeling less like a talisman and more like dead weight. His hands shook slightly, barely visible, but the cameras caught it. Caprio called the case. State versus Robert Chen, speeding violation. Chen approached from the gallery, a quiet man in his 40s wearing a pressed shirt and khakis. Caprio asked standard questions. "How fast were you going? Did you see the speed limit sign?" Chen answered carefully. Then Caprio turned to Brennan. "Counselor, have you reviewed the case file?" Brennan stood. "Yes, Your Honor, in preparation this morning." "This morning. I reviewed the materials in my car on the drive here." Silence, not the good kind. Caprio leaned forward. "You reviewed a client's case while driving?" Before Brennan could answer, Chen spoke up. "Your Honor, if I may." Caprio nodded. Chen pulled out his phone. "During our consultation 3 days ago, Mr. Brennan told me to lie about my speed. He said, and I quote, 'Just say you weren't going that fast. They can't prove it.' I recorded our conversation." The courtroom erupted. Brennan's face drained of color. The briefcase suddenly felt like evidence. Caprio raised his hand. Silence returned instantly. That's the kind of authority 40 years builds. "Mr. Chen, approach the bench, please. Mr. Brennan, you as well." They walked forward. Caprio spoke quietly, but the microphones picked up everything. "Mr. Brennan, do you routinely record your client consultations?" Brennan stammered. "No, Your Honor, that's not—" "I'm not asking about your habits. I'm asking about right now. Do you have recording equipment in that briefcase?" Brennan looked at the leather case still sitting by the defense table. His mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. "I have a digital recorder, yes, but it's for personal notes. Is it on?" "No." "Has it been used to record clients without their knowledge?" Brennan's silence was the answer. Caprio's expression didn't change, but something shifted in his eyes. He glanced toward the gallery where a woman sat in the 3rd row, notepad open. Bar Association representative. Not a coincidence. Never a coincidence. "Mr. Brennan, I'm going to ask you to open that briefcase and show me its contents." The cameras zoomed in. You could see Brennan's hands trembling as he walked back to the table. This is what the 2 million viewers would replay over and over the moment a man realizes he's been caught. The briefcase opened with a soft click. 3 manila folders, 1 legal pad, and tucked in the side pocket, a small Sony digital voice recorder, silver casing worn from use. Brennan lifted it out like it might explode. Caprio gestured for him to bring it forward. "How long have you been using this device to record clients?" Brennan's voice came out hoarse. 3 years, Your Honor." "How many recordings?" The numbers seemed to stick in Brennan's throat. "Maybe 200. The courtroom went dead silent except for camera shutters clicking. Caprio held the recorder up to the light, turned it over in his hands. When he spoke, every word carried 40 years of authority. "Mr. Brennan, in 4 decades on this bench, I've seen arrogance. I've seen attorneys who think they're above the rules. But disrespect paired with systematic corruption, that's rare." He set the recorder down carefully on the bench between them. "You came into my courtroom 47 minutes late. No apology. You demanded I speed up proceedings. You admitted to reviewing your client's case while driving. And now we learn you've been illegally recording client consultations for 3 years. Does that about sum it up?" Brennan nodded. Couldn't speak. The briefcase sat open on the defense table. Files scattered, everything exposed. The camera angles captured it all. The emptied case, the lawyers shaking hands, the judge's steady gaze. Caprio suspended proceedings immediately. Called for court officers. The Bar Association representative. Turned out she'd been investigating Brennan for 6 weeks based on an anonymous tip. Stood and identified herself. Chen wasn't actually Chen. He was a paralegal named David Ortiz working with the State Ethics Board. The speeding ticket was real, but the case was a setup. They'd been trying to catch Brennan in witness coaching for months. Brennan stood there while officers confiscated the briefcase, the recorder, his files. Everything. He was escorted from the courtroom at 10:23 a.m., 36 minutes after he'd walked in. The video went viral within 3 hours. By noon, 500,000 views. By end of day, 2 million. National news picked it up. Arrogant lawyer exposed in viral court video. His law firm, prestigious downtown Providence practice, 8 attorneys, issued a statement by 2 p.m. "We are conducting an internal investigation." His phone showed 47 missed calls. 12 from former clients, 8 from reporters, 3 from his wife. The briefcase ended up in an evidence lockup room in the Providence courthouse basement, tagged and catalogued. Everything he'd built, 15 years of cases, reputation, income, was inside that case. The recorder held 200 conversations, 200 potential ethics violations, 200 reasons his career was over, all captured in 4 minutes of footage that would be watched 15 million times. The State Ethics Board moved fast. By late March 2018, they'd obtained a warrant for the recorder's contents. Brennan's attorney, he needed one now, irony noted, argued the recordings were privileged. The board disagreed. Massachusetts law is clear. Illegal recordings have no protection. The transcription process took 3 weeks. What they found was worse than anyone expected. 67 cases showed clear witness coaching, Brennan telling clients to lie, omit facts, create alibis. 23 cases involved suggestions of evidence tampering, discussions about losing documents that might hurt the defense. 12 cases included conversations about bribing court staff, bail bondsmen, even a clerk at the district attorney's office. It wasn't aggressive defense work. It was systematic fraud. Former clients started filing complaints, 38 in the first month alone. Some requested new trials, others sued for malpractice. Brennan's coaching had led them to commit perjury, exposing them to criminal penalties. The Massachusetts Bar Association scheduled an emergency hearing for June. The briefcase became Exhibit A, They literally wheeled it into the hearing room on a cart, opened it in front of the disciplinary board. Empty now except for evidence tags. The board's decision took 40 minutes. License revoked. No appeal. 15 years of practice ended with a gavel strike. Marcus Anthony Brennan, attorney at law, ceased to exist on June 18, 2018. The video kept circulating. The personal fallout came in waves. First, the law firm. Brennan was a named partner, Brennan, Sullivan and Associates. The firm voted to remove his name within a week of the viral video. Then they discovered 3 other attorneys had also been using illegal recording devices following Brennan's lead. The entire practice collapsed by August. Offices closed. Staff laid off. 8 attorneys suddenly unemployed. Reputations destroyed by association. Brennan's wife filed for divorce in July. Court documents cited professional embarrassment and irreparable damage to family reputation. They had 2 kids, ages 9 and 12. The divorce settlement demanded $1.2 million. Combination of asset division and compensatory damages. Brennan didn't have it. His income had evaporated. Legal fees from his own defense topped $300,000. Former clients' lawsuits added another $400,000 in settlements. By December 2018, he'd filed for bankruptcy. The house in East Greenwich went into foreclosure. The Rolex he'd worn in the viral video sold at auction for $8,000. The leather briefcase, the actual briefcase, got purchased by the Massachusetts Bar Association for $1,200. They wanted it for ethics training. It now sits in a glass case at their Boston headquarters, a reminder of what happens when ambition crosses into corruption. 8 months after the video, Brennan was working as an insurance adjuster for $42,000 a year, living in a studio apartment in Warwick. The video had 15 million views. Caprio's phrase, "Respect isn't optional," became a motto in legal circles nationwide. But something unexpected happened in the aftermath. The Court in Providence episode became the show's most watched in history. The clip played in law schools from Harvard to Stanford. First-year ethics courses showed it as a case study. What not to do, how arrogance compounds failure, why the small rules matter. Brennan's 4-minute appearance became shorthand for professional misconduct. Legal conferences referenced it. Bar Association training seminars opened with it. The image of the empty briefcase, leather worn, contents scattered on the defense table, turned into a meme in legal communities. That's a Brennan moment, attorneys would say when someone got too cocky. What started as personal humiliation became an educational tool. Judge Caprio, for his part, handled it with characteristic grace. In interviews, he didn't gloat. "The courtroom has rules for a reason," he told NPR in October 2018. "It's not about power, it's about respect for the process, for the people who come seeking justice. When you lose that respect, you lose everything." The phrase, "respect isn't optional," showed up on plaques in courtrooms across Rhode Island. The Providence Journal ran a feature, "The Judge Who Went Viral for the Right Reasons." Caprio's show gained 3 million new subscribers. But he kept doing what he'd always done, showing compassion to defendants who deserved it, holding attorneys accountable who didn't. The briefcase sat in its glass case in Boston. The legend grew. 200 articles were written about the 4-minute takedown. Marcus Brennan became a cautionary tale, and the story could have ended there. 3 years passed, 2021. Brennan sent a letter to Caprio's chambers, handwritten, 2 pages, no lawyer language, just accountability. "Your Honor, I want to apologize. Not because I'm seeking anything. My license is gone, my career is over, and I accept that. I apologize because you were right. I lost respect for the process, for my clients, for the court. I thought winning was everything. I was wrong." The letter continued, I now teach paralegal ethics courses at Community College of Rhode Island. I make $38,000 a year. I use my own case as the primary example of what happens when ambition becomes corruption. My students watch the video. They see my face drain of color when you ask about the recorder. It's humiliating every single time, but it's also necessary. They need to see real consequences, not abstract rules. Caprio read it twice. Then he wrote back. One sentence. The law forgives those who learn. That exchange never went public, but people close to both men say it mattered. Brennan kept teaching. He bought a new briefcase, cheap Target brand, $29.99. Nothing hidden inside. His courses filled up each semester. Students wanted to hear from someone who'd actually failed, who could explain how small compromises lead to catastrophic collapse. The transformation was complete. Humiliation had become education. The viral video still circulated. 15 million views became 20 million, but now it served a purpose beyond mockery. It taught something essential about character, consequences, and the cost of disrespect. Present day, 2026. The clip still circulates, an evergreen cautionary tale in legal ethics. Judge Caprio, now 84, still presides over Providence Municipal Court, still shows mercy to humble defendants, still dismisses arrogant attorneys when they cross the line. The show continues. The lessons remain. The original briefcase, that worn leather case with MAB monogrammed on the side, sits in the Massachusetts Bar Association headquarters in Boston, third floor ethics training wing. It's displayed in a glass case with theater lighting, positioned so visitors can see inside. Empty. The leather is cracked now, the monogram faded. A brass plaque beneath reads, "Respect isn't optional, the cost of professional arrogance." Law students visit it on field trips. Bar association members bring their kids. See that briefcase? Let me tell you a story about what happens when you think rules don't apply to you. Marcus Brennan still teaches at Community College of Rhode Island. His classes on legal ethics remain popular. He's 52 now, remarried, living modestly in Cranston. The video follows him everywhere. Students Google him before the first class, recognize his face when he walks in. He doesn't hide from it. First day of every semester, he plays the clip himself, watches his younger self slam the briefcase down, demand the judge speed things up, fumble through the discovery of the recorder. Then he asks, "What did I do wrong?" And the class dissects his failure piece by piece. The briefcase that carried his career now teaches others how not to lose theirs. The final truth sits in that glass case in Boston. Same leather, same monogram. Completely different meaning. Once it represented success, 12 years of victories, client files, secret recordings, insurance against failure. Now it represents consequence, the object transformed. What started as a good luck charm from law school became a tool of fraud, then evidence of corruption, then an educational artifact. 4 minutes changed everything. The courtroom won. Not through dramatic confrontation or heated argument, but through simple, steady application of rules that existed long before Marcus Brennan thought he was above them. Judge Caprio asked basic questions, required basic respect, enforced basic standards, and when those standards weren't met, the whole structure collapsed. That's the lesson the briefcase teaches now. Not about spectacular falls or public humiliation, though those happened. It teaches that small compromises compound. Recording one client without permission becomes recording 200. Arriving late once becomes a habit of disrespect. Thinking you're special becomes thinking rules don't apply. And eventually, inevitably, the briefcase opens. Everything scatters. The cameras capture it all. The worn leather case sits under glass, a monument to a 4-minute interaction that cost a man 15 years of work. Visitors look at it and see themselves. The corners they've cut, the rules they've bent, the moments they've prioritized convenience over integrity. The case is empty now, but the warning it carries is full. Respect isn't optional. The courtroom always wins, and the legends we leave behind aren't always the ones we intended.